With that said, I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency, and our regular meeting of Tuesday, November the 21st, 2017 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
The minutes will reflect all council members present.
Thank you. Invocation by Pastor Mike Newcheck of the El Redentor Church.
Father, as we stand before you this evening, we want to thank you and praise your name because our hearts are overflowing with thankfulness that you have helped each and every one of us to come this far, another year, and you have blessed our city, helped our city, and all the plans and all the business that needs to be taken care of. We give you all the praise and all the thanks for helping us. And we ask, Lord, that you give our leaders wisdom for the year to come and the leading of your Spirit in every decision that they make. For we ask and pray all this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And Pledge of Allegiance. Helen, could you do that for us, please?
Sure. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Item number 1 is approval of the agenda. And I would like to just make one change, and I will move item 4D up to the first item under regular business. No
Make a
one
motion to
objects.
approve, Mr. Mayor, with the change that you cited.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, now we'll go to public appearances, not to exceed 4 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you when you come to the microphone. Please state your name for the record. You are not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. And under item 2A, we have introduction of police officer Juan Morales by interim Police Chief Kelly Brown, and then why don't we have that first?
Good evening, council, city manager, staff. Kelly Brown, interim chief of police for the city of Brawley. I have the opportunity to introduce to you Juan Morales. Although Juan is probably not a strange face to those in the city, he has served with us for almost 4 years in the capacity of a public safety dispatcher. Juan comes to us from the Dallas, Texas area. Fortunately, he met his wife through some mutual friends who is a Brawley native and a graduate of Brawley Union High School. Shortly after meeting his wife, he joined the United States Marine Corps, where he began his adult time in service. After completing his tour of 9 years with the Marine Corps, he joined our department as a public safety dispatcher and decided that he was going to pursue service a little bit further and enrolled in the Imperial Valley College Police Academy. During this time, he completed 2 separate modules at the local police academy. Unfortunately, at the time, they didn't offer the 3rd module. He was hired with the department as a reserve police officer in addition to his full-time job as a police dispatcher. Once the opportunity arose, he was hired and sent to, as a police cadet, and sent to the remaining police module up in Eureka, California. If you will recall, there was an email that was sent out regarding his attendance and graduation from that academy. So in June of this year, he graduated. Shortly thereafter, he came back, was placed on field training, where he was mentored for the last several months by a senior officer and had on-the-job training. He was successful in completing the training program, which is extensive, and was assigned as a solo patrol officer this past month. So one thing that I should note as well, during both academies, Juan excelled and was recognized as the academic achiever at both academies. And that's no easy feat. You know, he went up to Eureka, where he was away from his family and his comfort zone, and still performed very well and represented the city of Brawley extremely well. So with that, I introduce to you Officer Juan Morales.
Thank you very much for that. Just want to thank the city clerk, city attorney, council members, Mayor Couchman, and also city manager Roseanne Moore. I appreciate you guys for this opportunity. This is a dream come true. Like Chief said, I've been in and out of Brawley for working past 4 years, in and out for the past 13. My wife couldn't be here tonight. She's under the weather. But, you know, it's thanks to her that I'm here, because I wouldn't be in Brawley if it wasn't for her. And I figure if Brawley could raise such a wonderful woman like my wife, that, you know, I should be here to continue. Thank you guys very much for this opportunity, and I'm going to try my hardest and do my hardest to provide the best service I can for the city members of Brawley. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right. We're good.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. Just.
Officer
yeah.
Morales, if we could
Officer Morales.
please have you stand here for a
Yeah,
moment
one
and
second.
receive some council
Yeah, right there.
feedback. Yes, that would be great.
We'll do some council feedback.
Congratulations on your next step in your journey. May God protect you always, and you have my vote. You talk about your wife being so good, and for a man, it's not easy sometimes, but I'm glad to hear that you're a great husband.
I wouldn't say that. Thank you so much.
Well, in my eyes, you are. Thank you.
Officer Morales, I'd like to also congratulate you, and I know it's been, actually, it seems like you've been here for quite a while and finally reached your goal, so we're very happy to have you on board and very happy to have you in the city of Brawley. I think you probably already love the city of Brawley, and if you continue working here, I'm sure the community and everyone will really love to have you around. And please, anything you need from us, don't hesitate to ask.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I first off want to echo thank you for your service to our country as well as our community. Speaks volumes of who you are and how you were raised, actually. I have a couple things in common with you. I, too, am a transplant that married a well-raised Brawley gal, too, so I share that with you. And she's not here tonight to hear that, but I'm sure word will get out. But also was fortunate to begin my career that's remained, actually, as a reserve officer, too. So, again, a very noble way to serve our community at no compensation, as you know. But we're truly blessed and happy to have you where you want to be to continue to pursue your career. So welcome aboard, and we're proud to have you.
Thanks, sir.
Officer Morales, congratulations on this next step in your career. And certainly I would echo what Councilmember Wharton said, which is thank you very much for your service to our country and to our community and your dedication, because it wasn't a short journey. You've been here for 4 years, and all the years that you served in the military, and just brought you to to the moment here today. So congratulations to you. I wish you very well, and congratulations to your family on this next step forward. So and I'll echo the comments shared by Councilmember Howdegi, which is anything that we can offer and help with, we're certainly here for you. And thank you again for everything. Congratulations.
Congratulations on behalf of the mayor. And also, we're very proud and pleased to have a Marine as one of our officers here in Brawley. So we look forward to that. We look forward to your service. I know you'll be very successful.
Thanks,
so
sir.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, I just want to express my gratitude for including me in coming to do the prayers and invocations. I'm glad to serve. I'm not supposed to be here today, but somebody that was supposed to come didn't show, so I tell Alma I'm the spare tire a lot of times. But
And we love it.
I gladly serve, and glad to be here. And also wanted to announce to you and to everybody that's here tonight, like for the last 41 years, we have a turkey dinner giveaway at our church, 305 North 9th Street. It starts at 7 o'clock, and we normally serve from 6 to 800 plates. And any of you are welcome to stop by and pick up a plate to go. Or if you know people in your community, shut-ins or people that may be in need, please stop by and pick up some plates there, okay? Thank you and good night.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor.
We appreciate your service here for us, as I know you're here quite often, and we appreciate your service to the community, okay?
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Likewise. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to introduction of Accounting Assistant Giovanna Lira by Ruby Walla, Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Ruby Walla, Finance Director. I'm happy to introduce tonight Giovanna Lira. She's our newest addition to our team as an accounting assistant for the Utility Billing and Finance Department. Giovanna is a Brawley resident, a graduate of Imperial High. She has 3 children, 2 daughters, and a son who is currently serving for the United States Marines. Giovanna started with the City of Brawley as a temporary clerk with our department on December 2nd, 2016, to aid in coverage and shortages in our department in the utility billing counter. That shortly then ended. However, we were due for more coverage, and we called her back on April 17, 2017, where she served as a temporary position. However, during that time as serving temporary, a vacancy came up for accounting assistant, and on July 21st, 2017, Giovanna was a successful candidate in retrieving that position and currently serves and is her primary responsibility is the customer service counter at utility billing and does all the functions from utility billing, customer service, business license processing, permit application processing. So basically, she's the face of the department in addition to our other accounting assistant, Carla Valdez, and she's a great complement and addition to our department. So, Giovanna Lira.
Thank you. I just want to thank the City of Brawley for the opportunity. I've been trying to get in the City of Brawley for a long time. Alma could vouch for me, and I'm just very grateful.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We'll have,
Congratulations.
and Norma?
I just want to offer my congratulations. I know that I indicated here that since December of 2016, so I'm really happy that you hung in there, and we finally are able to get you in a full-time permanent position. Congratulations. We're happy to have you.
Welcome aboard, and it's always great to hear that you're able to kind of come from within by serving in the temporary role. So nothing brings us more pleasure than seeing someone that is able to not only take advantage, but we're lucky to have you, and we certainly hope that you have a long and enjoyable career with the City of Brawley.
Thank you. Giovanna, congratulations to you. I know you've had different roles throughout the community, different jobs, and I'm happy for you and your family, and I hope that you have a long career here. And my experience with you and going in, just very briefly, it's been a very positive experience, and I hope that you enjoy the work and that people come in and are enlightened by your presence. So enjoy yourself and work hard, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the new job. I want to say I frequent the office over there because it feels like I pay my water bill about once a week. So I'm sure I'll see you many times over there. And I look forward to it. And I know you'll do really well here at the City of Brawley.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Item 2B, City of Brawley Parks and Recreation Commission comments regarding the park restroom facilities.
This evening, we have
Mr. Walla.
Commissioner Michael Walla.
Good evening. Good evening, council members, city manager, and mayor. Like so many others, as we discussed, I am a transplant from another city to Brawley. My wife is in the building, so she's a swell individual as well. Better be
We
careful.
started a trend.
Yes. So I can vouch for the city. Since I've been a member of the community member of City of Brawley, I've been very involved with coaching, helping our young, being involved in Parks and Rec. I just was part of the committee for the W that got passed recently. So I become very involved in our city, and I love it. Recently, our kids have been put in soccer, and during practice, I took my son, 3-year-old, to the restroom. I was appalled, disgusted. I didn't even want to take him in there. I was like, you got to hold it. No, I got to go. So I literally held him in my hands, helped him go, and just because everything was a mess. So afterwards, I did speak with one of the city parks individual, and I asked, I go, what's going on? Why is it? He goes, we don't have the resources, we don't have the time to be in here every hour to check everything. I go, okay, as a commissioner, how can I help? He goes, this is the part where we need your help. He goes, currently our hours are from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. During that time, everything from toilet paper to being stolen, to vandalism, to holes being punched in the walls recently at our last meeting we saw, to kids on the splash pad, to kids standing on the ACs, to you name it, has occurred. And I said, okay, as a commissioner, what can we do to help? Can we address? It was our recommendation is if we can change the hours from a 3 p.m. when they get off of work and to at night when they close them at 10 p.m. That way, the kids out of school have, if they're at a park, they're at this, And I said, okay, well, why is this now? And he said, due to previous events, that it was council's direction that we open them at 7 a.m. in the morning. So we're kind of torn, we're kind of this, but in order to keep our facilities up to date and clean and establish something for our community and to use, we feel as a commission that we're recommending that you change the hours of those.
So limiting the hours to prevent vandalism or help prevent vandalism early on
exactly.
throughout the day.
Yeah, because if they do it when they get off of work at 3 p.m., right before, they'll unlock them. And then at night when they close them up, they'll be able to. Currently, where the splash pad is, they have automated locks where they can set the timing and do that. And that's like perfect. But my question was, if we were to change that to they said it's expensive. It's super expensive for every different facility. So
Right.
So that's where we stand. So our recommendations as a commission, I said I was going to come to commission and break. And I know our city manager has pictures where she was notified recently of holes in the walls. And it's I mean, we don't have much resources as it is to be on there 24 hours. But, I mean, it's some of them, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't want to take my kid in there, like, hey, hold it. But
I believe that damage occurred during the day, too. The vandalism that we had on the one restroom was during the daytime. Actually, no kids were there as far as we know it. It had to be somebody not in school and not more of an adult.
Exactly.
So-
And it's continuing throughout, and it's and if we want to keep our parks and everything clean and updated, what can we do? And this is one small solution.
And maybe even having posted hours of when the restroom facilities are open, that might even help as well, just so people, because what we'll get is pushback and saying, why aren't they open? And if there's no clear understanding as to when the restroom facilities are open or closed, there may be, but if we can prevent that by having some sort of posting, that might help too.
The only problem that I have with that is you're also telling the people that vandalize what time they can vandalize, that's one. And two, the reason why, if you recall, is the reason why we did say to open in the morning, because of the neighborhood, that they were tired of seeing people urinate,
Right.
outside and stuff.
That's correct.
It's a really touchy subject for the community and then for us. It's a lot of money, but I think somehow, some way, we need to let the neighborhood or the community know why it is that we prefer to, close it at 3 p.m. if we decide to do that. They're going to have to, because they will be calling, truthfully.
I wasn't here when the decision was made or that discussion, but I do know, actually personally know people that live right by the park. And I guess before, when the restrooms were closed, she told me that people actually used to go knock on her door and ask her if they could use the restroom facilities. And a few times she did allow them, and I thought, well, that's not very smart, but.
Well, we're not asking them to be closed 24/7. We're just asking them to be open
But I guess
at 3.
earlier in the day, but But what's the use, do you know, do we have an idea, like, what's the usage?
I think that's something that's up in the air. What I would like to entertain maybe is that we take a look at closing them, except open them from 3 to say 10, but also weekends, we have to have different hours for that.
Yes, if there's,
And-
we agreed that if there's events or if the park's being used.
And then I think we need to look at that because we have some of our facilities that are utilized a lot in the mornings, and then we have some of our facilities that are utilized more when school's out. I know that Cattle Call Arena, I don't know that we lock those, but if we lock those, there's a lot of people that walk down there in the morning, that could pose a problem for them. And so I think we've got to take a look at this. I'm not sure that a blanket decision's going to make a big difference, and I think we have to take a little bit of a look at this. Maybe we want to experiment with it a little bit and then take another look at it and kind of work our way through it, because I don't think we can say, oh, okay, we're going to close from 3 to 10, and that's going to solve the problem, because I don't know that it does. There's a lot of other extenuating circumstances.
Exactly, but the majority on the east side, where the Missouri Park, where the splash pad is and stuff, those are being used after school when the kids are
Mostly,
out.
I would think that most of that usage is after school, and adults out walking at those parks do have some access to their residences, whereas down
Yeah,
at the Cattle
if you're
Call Arena,
gonna walk
they
over
wouldn't
there,
have
yes.
easy access to
No,
their
and we're not-
residences. So
yeah.
that's my only concern, is I want to make sure that everybody's accommodated, but I also want to protect the restrooms, because it costs us money every time somebody vandalizes, every time we have a problem with it, and trying to go back over there and have city staff clean it hourly isn't a good option. So I think, but I also would like to ask the public to keep a look at those things, let us know if there's problems, call the police if they see some activity they don't think is kosher over there, and I would like to see that all happen also, so. I mean,
Yes.
a couple of different things.
And we agree as the commission, we're just trying to
Yeah,
come
and
to the
I think it's a
conclusion.
valid suggestion, and, you know, I think what we can do as city council, city staff, is just maybe evaluate some of the areas that are hit worse, and see if there could be some limitations on those facilities, you know.
And even maybe patrol once in a while.
Right,
more
exactly,
More
yeah.
often and stuff, because that's the problem. And there shouldn't be transits in there, and
Right.
there's been times and stuff like that.
So since this is a public presentation, I think what we can do is direct staff to look into this, do what needs to be done, and maybe bring it back to us if there's action required from the council. But otherwise, just take whatever action is necessary and let us know, or we can let you know what we feel
Yeah.
about any kind of plans that you may have.
And- And our next Parks and Rec meeting is in January, so if there's anything I can relay back to them, I can, or let them know that at least we're looking into it. and
Certainly.
With our suggestions. so.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
If
very
you can
much.
ask our finance director how much this is going to cost us, I'd appreciate that.
He already knows.
We volunteer our time.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 2C, we're going to go to certificate of presentation by Katie Luna, the Brawley Chamber of Commerce.
To see?
Yeah, I added it,
Oh,
so I would
it's
remember.
not here.
Mayor, thank you for adding me on the agenda unofficially.
Unofficially.
Katie Luna, Executive Director of the Brawley Chamber of Commerce, David Kanyes, Ambassador for the Chamber of Commerce. The common question we've got recently is, have we recouped from our week of fun? And the answer is yes, I must have, because I had time to write a personal reflection that I'd like to share with you today. So if you'll bear with me, it's not too long, but it does relay some sentiment of our recent activities in the community and how important they are to me as well as to the chamber. So a little bit of a story for you. Growing up, I knew a 10-year-old city girl who came from a middle-class entrepreneur family. On a typical Saturday, you could find her in jeans and a t-shirt covered in dirt, grease, and who knows what. Her assignment, given to her by her father, the business owner, was to organize and arrange all the tools in his plumbing truck so that when Monday morning came and duty called, he could quickly and easily find the tools he needed for the job. So there she was, cleaning and organizing and helping Dad run the family business. The following Monday, the same little city girl, went to school dressed in her cowboy boots and her Western attire. This was the day she participated in the talent show, dancing a country line dance to a country western Clay Walker song. Well, actually, it was Billy Ray Cyrus, but for the sake of a good story, we'll say Clay Walker. For this little city girl with a country heart, it was only ever a dream to live in a town with horses, where people knew you by name, where cowboys walked around in their hats, and where country artists came to play concerts. Fast forward 20 years, and that same little girl, me, is now living her dream and fulfilling her passion. How lucky we are to be in Brawley, a place that some dream of and a place where dreams come true. What I didn't realize till this morning was that the entrepreneurial skills that I had learned as a child would pave the way for success of our 2017 cattle call. Organizing and setting things just right
thinking a few steps ahead so that our local businesses can enjoy full exposure during the week of festivities. You see, the Week of Cattle Call not only honors our community traditions and the roots of our history, but it's become the livelihood that supports so many small businesses in and around Brawley. As the Chamber Executive Director, it gives me great satisfaction to know that my members are being fulfilled by the community activities during the Week of Cattle Call. Next year, if you have a chance, during the chili cook-off or the mariachi night, venture out to the businesses and see what the impact is on them. When I took over the chamber, a colleague of mine posed an interesting question. Is the chamber really committed to cattle call? And that answer is, and always has been, most definitely yes. But as the Chamber of Commerce, our function during this time of year is different than that of the rodeo committee or the city. Our function as a Chamber of Commerce is to harness the flow of people and the tourism that is sparked by our region's activities, such as the rodeo, the sand dunes, and the local wildlife that bring people to Brawley. Promotion of Brawley is critical through this season of activities so that our business community can thrive. Our duty, amongst many, is to promote all the great things about our community and to draw people into our city. Our duty is also to promote our members and their great quality products and services. Success, then, for the Chamber becomes measured in numbers of people we draw into our city. This year's success for us was a noticeable increased presence at our chili cook-off, our mariachi night, and the additional people who attended the concert. The increase in people meant increased opportunities for businesses to capitalize. This year, we estimated an increase in attendance that puts us on the high end of our usual estimations. So we had 6,000 for chili cook-off, 12,000 for mariachi night, which is actually outside of our estimation. Usually we estimate 8 to 10. We had 12,000 for mariachi night, 20,000 for the parade, and 5,000 for the concert. A total of 43,000 instances where people were driven to cattle call festivities in Brawley, in our city. If you add the sold-out crowd of the rodeo, estimated over 25,000, our numbers jump to 60,000 instances where we drew people in. With the magnitude of these events and the impact they have on our community, it's hard to imagine that these events are organized by a team of 2 chamber staff, myself included. But the success lies within our army of close to 100 volunteers. We are truly grateful for the time and the dedication that each of our volunteers puts into this week of events. Most of all, I would like to thank and recognize 2 of our chamber ambassadors, David Cañas, King David, and Christy Perez. Without David and Christy, a good portion of these events would lack in organization and implementation. I would like to also mention and thank our board member, Joel Gonzalez, who did a phenomenal job of organizing our security for mariachi night and the concert. I don't have enough eloquent words to express the relief that came when Joel stepped up to organize our safety needs. All of our volunteers come with the heart of service and the itch for fun. They dedicate their time knowing that our community collectively will benefit from their volunteer time. I would like to also thank Mayor Couchman, who made the formal introduction between the Chamber and MEK Lithium Representative Diane Williams. Diane's drive and desire to bring us a quality concert was the key behind a successful concert Saturday night. For the past 2 years, as the Chamber has undergone many changes, I am happy to say that our financial situation has turned from a nail-biter to a mission-driven and purposeful situation. On behalf of the board and the executive team, I can say that we have more drive and purpose than ever before and a stronger strategic plan than ever before. This year, our estimated cattle call investment, meaning the Chamber's cost to put the events on, was close to $45,000. Keeping in mind that the concert was paid for mostly by MEK Lithium, and it's not included in that estimation. This $45,000 of business expenditure is invested into our local business economy, our community, our city, and our county. Our Chamber's net is estimated close to $30,000. The net will help the Chamber stay open for approximately 4 months. We would be silly not to recognize the true cost that these events put on our city staff. We know that to accomplish the cattle call feat every year, it is a stretch, and that this year was even more tasking on our city resources. We are thankful for the seemingly endless hours of planning and execution from the city manager, department heads, and staff. Thank you. There is no deeper sense of gratitude and appreciation that can be had during this week than when you see Miguel and a group of dedicated workers at 2 a.m. cleaning up the mess that is left behind. As the last event organizer standing, that's a badge of honor there. I can truly say that I'm grateful for them and being there with them at that time cleaning up. It's a feat, and I appreciate them. Each city department was crucial during the week, and each city department performed beautifully and successfully. A huge debt of gratitude to our public works for timely implementation of road closures, our PD and fire for keeping us safe, Parks and Rec for on-site services, and to all who played a role for the week. Thank you, Mayor and City Council, for your support during the week and for coming out to all of our events. This year, Cattle Call was one for the history books. I think we can agree on that. And in closing, I'd like to add that as I stood in the almost vacant plaza at 3 a.m. Sunday, November 12th, I couldn't help but smile to myself and think how lucky I am to be living my personal dream here in Brawley, supporting our small businesses and giving back to the community. I hope that this year, each of you had a little bit of your personal dream come true. So thank you, Brawley residents, businesses, and community at large. And I would like to present a certificate of appreciation from the Brawley Chamber to you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for your support this last week.
Okay. Very much. Very cool. Yes. Comments, questions? Any comments?
Just thank you very much for all the work that you put in and all of the ambassadors. I know it's a limited staff, but it really does take the entire community to put these events together. So thank you, Katie, for leading that charge. Great events overall, and I think people are very, very happy with the results. So thank you very much for your work.
And thank you also. I have to say, you had, for your first time real big, you had Clay Walker, and that was a challenge, for you. But I think you did an overwhelming, awesome job. So congratulations, you and your staff.
Congratulations, Katie, to you and all the ambassadors. I know I saw David out there. I think, made almost all the events in support of the City of Brawley and the Chamber. And I have to say that you have an outstanding team of very dedicated volunteers and ambassadors with the City of Brawley and with the Brawley Chamber of Commerce, because I don't know how you do it, but it was fantastic. This was, like I said, I think I went to almost all the events and everything went perfectly. I didn't see any problems. I did check with Rosanna later to see if we had any problems, and if we did, they were very minor. So my congratulations to such a great job to all of you and your staff.
Katie, I was quite frankly going to rave about all the Cattle Call events during council report outs, but council member report outs. But I will definitely say, I said many times, this is one of the best Cattle Calls that I've been a part of. So I didn't know if that was just personal, but it seems like that's been shared, amongst. Not to mention the new pinnacle being the concert on Main. How cool is that? So, but outside of that, I also want to say one other thing and single you out as a chamber member, and a chamber member for as long as I've been working in the private industry that I have been. Your support is genuine and real. I know that for a fact. You reached out and sat me down, and we had actually quite the discussion on what you were reaching out to me to help our industry and help our business. So I can definitely tell you as a chamber member, not as a council member, having you in that seat and having the team that's around you, true dedication, and certainly I cannot overstate how valuable that is and important. So thank you for all that you've done.
I'll echo some of the comments you shared, and it's great work. I enjoy very much working with you, and we've done some events together, and have a lot of professional respect for you, and great work. And we look forward to continue to work together and have some great events here in the city of Brawley and promote business, small business, and, generate some revenue here for the city and for its citizens. So thank you again for everything you do and great work.
Thank you.
Katie, as a chamber member and as a member of the chamber board representing the city of Brawley, I know how much work goes into all of this. You have a great team of volunteers. You have a great team of board members. You have a great staff. And I don't know how you did it, but I'm not sure how the city did it. But we're very proud of this cattle call. It was a great cattle call. It brought back a lot of memories about cattle calls in the old days, a long time ago. And as a child, and I remember a lot of things that went on, and some of this was very similar. And so I think it was a great grand cattle call event, and one of the best I've been to in many, many years.
Thank you.
And so you're to be, committed for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Okay, proceeding on with public appearances. I saw Supervisor Ryan Kelly come into the audience. Did you have anything you might want to share with us, or? Yes, absolutely, but that's what we're doing. But that's okay. Now's probably the time.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff. Ryan Kelly, 448 Russell Road. County of Imperial today had the first reading of the marijuana ordinance for medicinal, recreational, and industrial hemp. There will also be another discussion about specific planning fees, and that'll be on December 12th. The county also gave some extensions to a couple of our community benefit loans. One was for Imperial Center, and the other one was for Silverdale Cheese.
Saw that on the agenda.
And then we had a couple of public hearings. We're working towards a fire station's sheriff's substation in Nyland that also has a community center, cooling center attached to it. And then some infrastructure improvement in Sealy. We also approved a project, or we waived the permitting fees for an Aegis Ecomedia Compass project at the Desert Shores Fingers. This is one of the marinas that is adjacent on our West Shores community that no longer has a connection to the Salton Sea. This is a community project that they were looking at permitting fees in the neighborhood of $50,000, and they're raising $400,000 to do the improvements. They still have other hurdles with the Army Corps of Engineers, but we sent out an RFQ a year and a half ago soliciting private property owners to develop and do mitigation projects. We had funding identified with a water conservation fund, but unfortunately between the state of California and the Water Conservation Fund, those monies haven't been available as yet. And this project wants to go forward, and we're going to seek some reimbursement once the money is available.
Okay.
Good.
Any questions from the council? If not, thank you very much, Supervisor Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise,
Thank
thank
you
you.
too.
Thank you. Any other public presentations? Anybody in the audience have an item not on the agenda?
Kate A. Picola. I'd like also Brawley residents, also a transplant who moved here for love. I'm not necessarily sure that he was properly raised. After all, his father was councilman for 20 years. What can I say? It's Thanksgiving, and I think we have lots to be thankful for. I would especially like to give thanks to your interim police chief, who has been receiving lots of emails from me. He now has identified me, so he may not do anything. We've had some folks complaining on Facebook about abandoned cars, and I decided, let's give it a shot. And he has taken care of all of them, including the one across the street from me. There's a couple more out there, but these folks who are using Facebook, it's a good way, and they don't want to be identified because they don't want their neighbors. I might suggest that we find some automated way to report it, like potholes, and the county has a pothole reporting system that, in discussion with my very good friend John Gay, who just absolutely loves me complaining at county supervisors meetings about roads, has offered to provide their materials and how they did this at no cost to y'all, so that you could develop some reporting systems however you want it. I've also checked to make sure that you do have the appropriate software, so it's just a matter of changing some menus. Mr. Gay has indicated that it has, while they were reluctant to do it in the beginning, it has provided some data for them that helps them identify additional funding. Okay? So I would like to thank Mr. Kelly. Thank you.
Yeah, right, that one.
Well, that one too.
That one's
On a different note, some of my veg grower members have complained about a road. And it's no surprise to you. The harvest season is coming up. The road is very rough. I have driven it. Mr. Nava indicates he spent Friday afternoon on it. And I understand there's relinquishment funds that are sitting there, and not knowing what you're planning on doing them, and I do see that you have another relinquishment item on the agenda today. I think it might be appropriate for y'all to come forward and let the public know what you're doing with the funds and how they're going to be spent in a fairly quick manner, so that they can call you rather than me, selfishly. Thank y'all, and thank each of you for your service.
Thank you.
Which road are you
Yeah, what
referring
road?
to?
I'm sorry. It's Old Highway 111. It's very rough from, I'll identify buildings, from the Lidco building to the bypass. There's a number of coolers there with very heavy trucks leaving because of harvest season. They are within limits, but it is rough for them. And I understand from some of them, they're now driving on the shoulder, which is not good, because it's going to tear the shoulder up. So we're going to have even more maintenance issues unless we do something.
Thank you for
Okay,
bringing
thank
this
you.
forward.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other public presentations?
Roy Livingston. I've been a 40-year resident of Brawley, but I would assume that I've been shot down and not to bring up anything about the agenda items, but I would like to encourage you to move forward as quickly as possible on the city street striping. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Livingston.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other public presentations? If not, I have one. In my overconfidence in the Brawley High School football team, I happened to bet with the mayor of El Centro regarding an issue, and now I have to be a man of my word and keep my word to the mayor, and I promised him what I would do, so I will do it now.
If you'd like to take your phones out and take some pictures, now's the time to do it. So.
Because this doesn't happen very often to me, and I lose very few bets, but in this situation, I did lose this bet, and I want to make sure that I show everybody that I'm wearing this Spartan T-shirt underneath my regular clothing. I had other ideas, but then I thought maybe this would be the best idea.
Alex said today you were going to wear it all day long.
I did. As soon as I got it, I put it on. He did not provide it to me until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and I wore it since that time. And we did not have a bet on how long I had to wear it, and we did not have a bet on how I had to wear it.
So that you could cover it up,
Just so
in
you
other
know,
words.
and I think he wants to put me on Facebook or something, and I don't know how I'm going to live this down, but I'll try.
You're a good sport, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. I know, at least I'll still be welcome in El Centro after this, I guess.
I think yours is a little cheaper than mine. He went for a dinner on me,
Oh, man.
so I
We
owe
were
him
going to
one.
wash cars, and then we thought, oh, well, T-shirts, and naturally, I didn't think I would lose, so I went along with it. I don't know where I'd have got a T-shirt his size, but I would have looked for it really hard.
Oh.
Okay.
dear.
This
Hey, that
happens,
was
this
a little
happens to be a
jerk,
medium.
Hey, I hope somebody, well, that's recorded.
That's
It
good.
is,
Recorded.
that's
Listen to
okay.
it. And he looks at
And
it.
he's not the mayor right now because they made their change already.
I
so,
thought you were
okay.
gonna pull a
That's funny.
Superman thing, you know?
Well,
I thought he
that's
was
what
gonna
he
pop it
wanted
off.
me to do, but I'm not going to ruin this shirt.
Because I told him, I said, if you start to
Okay.
unbutton that
Superman
way, it's
move.
going to look a little weird, you know?
Thank
Do it
you
all
for
at
your
once.
consideration of this. Now we will move to item number 3 of the consent agenda. And items are approved in one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Now we'll go to regular business, and I moved item 4D up, and that's the discussion and potential action regarding the Brawley Youth Football Junior Pee Wee's request for support to travel to the national championships in Kissimmee, Florida, December the 2nd through the 10th, 2017. So do we have any presentation on that from the team? I think we have some team members in attendance.
Yes.
Would you like to come forward? Please come up to this mic.
Hi, Mayor, council members. I'm
Morning.
Coach Joe Lopez, defensive coordinator with my son Joe.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Joe Lopez, and I hope you can sponsor or donate to my team. I played Junior Peely's Brawley football team, and we made it to the Nationals in Florida because it was a short time to fundraise, and we are hoping many people like yourself can help us get there. Thank you. The money will be used for travel expenses and food.
Okay, thank you very
Good job, my
much.
friend.
Good job.
Thank you.
Entertain a discussion from the council as to what we would like to do in this situation.
Well, I'd just like to say that I probably most of us have been exposed to Pop Warner. I have 4 children, they're all adults now, but 2 boys and 2 girls, and I have to say all 4 of them were part of the Pop Warner organization, including my husband, who coached for I don't know how many years, and he was also president and vice president, and I had to do fundraisers every weekend for I don't know how many years. So I'm very, very knowledgeable of the Pop Warner organization and how great it is. I think it teaches a lot more than sports and football and cheerleading. It teaches a lot of values to the kids. It keeps them busy. And I really, truly appreciate all the coaching that's done and the volunteers that help with that organization. And speaking for myself, and I think the rest of the council will agree, I'd like to go ahead and possibly transfer some of our travel funds to assist you in raising the money that you need for your travel to Florida, and hopefully you're able to accomplish your.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councilmember Howdy, maybe my idea, suggestion, I know we have some of our budget money, but I think typically maybe if we pool some of our funds that are for travel on our own personal training travel budget, et cetera, maybe something
Great.
along the lines of about $50 per council member, 250 total.
I'd be in favor of that.
I'd be in favor of that also.
I hope that will help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have one small request also.
Sure.
Next Thursday, we would like to borrow the plaza from 5 to 6 to have a community pep rally. And then from there, we want to have a family dinner at Inferno. But if we could borrow the plaza, that'd be.
The kiosk
I don't think-
or
Yeah,
something where they have,
kiosk.
yeah, sure.
I don't think there's do you need any kind of
We just
paperwork?
complete a facilities use form, and we'll follow up with you tomorrow, if that works,
Yeah.
and get it all
We'll make
squared away.
We'll make it as easy as
We'll
possible.
get a check
for
to
you.
them at that
And he's
point.
going to get the form where?
The city's Parks and Rec, Ruby will follow up via email with, from Lion Center, a physical copy can be picked up, or we can email it to you, whatever's easiest.
Pick up a copy and.
Wonderful.
We'll make it easy for
Sounds
you.
good. Okay, sounds good.
So-
Thank you very much.
Congratulations
So
on your
just
accomplishments. That's really
250?
great.
200 feet,
Of our
it's
city-
actually
city
for
travel,
discussion and
right.
staff direction, so it would just be staff direction, $50 from our
From each one of our
travel
accounts.
budget or training budget, whichever is
Yeah.
appropriate, and it would be for each
$250.
council member. Thank you and good luck.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good luck.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay. Okay. Item 4B is discussion and potential action to approve, no, I'm sorry. Item 4A, discussion and potential action to approve a 5-year contract with DSS Equiture for audio recording services in an amount not to exceed $35,045. Pages 86, 89 of your agenda. Who is speaking on that?
That will be Chief Brown
Chief Brown.
and/or Commander Hauser.
Okay.
Good evening once again, council, mayor, and staff. Kelly Brown, interim chief of police for the city of Raleigh. What we've prepared for you is a contract. This is actually a second time we've brought this contract in front of you. The last time was 6 years ago. It has since expired about 12 months ago. So we've been working with this company to provide the recording services outside of contract for the last 12 months. Obviously, with the increase of technology and the funds that are associated with those increases, a 5-year contract is best served to lock in that cost. So as you'll see in your paperwork, there is a slight increase to the contract and of about $1,800, a little over $1,800 annually, which relates to just under $9,500 over the life of the contract. So this service provides recording for our 911 lines as well as phone lines, which are utilized by staff at the police department. As you can imagine, these are invaluable services for evidentiary value when we are putting cases together for the district attorney's office.
Mr. Mayor, unless there's any questions from council, I make a motion to approve the item.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the audience? Any discussion from the council? If not, I call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
Okay, item 4B, discussion and potential action to approve resolution number 2017, resolution of the City Council of the City of Brawley, California, amending the fiscal year 2017-2018 City of Brawley Public Works budget and authorize the purchase of an ultraviolet analyzer for the City of Brawley wastewater treatment plant. Guillermo.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Guillermo Sillas, Public Works Director. As you have on your documents, the wastewater treatment plant has a disinfection system with ultraviolet system, and it was installed around 2002, and we have been with problems with that piece of equipment since 3 years ago, and right now it's operating in manual mode. So with the addition of this or the replacement of this equipment, we will be able to work automatically, and we will be connected to the SCADA system. So it will be monitored, and it will be automatically adjusting to the requirements of the water, and we will be saving in energy cost.
And possibly the life of the tubes potentially, or
Well,
it could extend the life, or?
Right, it will extend, right, because it won't be used as much as right now, because it will be reducing as required.
Right.
The company that we are looking for to acquire the equipment is the Trojan company, and is sole source because they were the ones that installed the system, and the software that controls or that integrates the components needs to be programmed by them. So that's the reason we are coming to the council to ask for authorization to acquire this type of equipment with this company.
Okay, and the cost is the $57,267.35?
Correct.
Okay, just so that we know it's not on the cover page, so I just want the public to be aware of that amount.
And that's the wastewater fund, so.
Right, wastewater fund, yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second?
We have a motion and a second.
Yep.
Any discussion? Any discussion from the audience? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guillermo.
Thank you, Guillermo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 4C, discussion and potential action to accept Caltrans relinquishment of the eastern segment of State Route 78 between Best Road and the eastern city limits of Brawley. And is that yours also, Guillermo?
Yes, as a part of the relinquishment of Highway 78 Main Street from First Street to the east of Old Highway 111, At that time, when the relinquishment happened, the southeastern portion of the intersection of Main Street and Old Highway 111 was in county property. And later on, when the Rancho Porter was annexed to the city, was a remaining little portion that was in Caltrans right away. And now they are asking us if we are able to or be relinquished to the city, because it's a very small piece that is adjacent to the already city right away.
So just as a quick recap, this is the portion that front, Main Street, that's in front of Porter Ranch,
Yes.
Rancho Porter,
Yes.
between Best and New Highway 111. It's the southern half.
section.
And so we already own the right-of-way, the northern half of the roadway. This is the southern half that's being picked up and made continuous along with the annexation of Rancho Porter.
Okay.
What condition is that road?
I'll allow Guillermo to
Well,
answer that.
the section that is being relinquished is not in reality paved. It's just a portion that is little south of the edge of pavement, but it's just something that remains between the asphalt and the property of Rancho Porter, so it is not paved. In reality, it won't be paved, it's just that will belong to the city, but not to be able to do any expansion or anything like that.
It's simply a right-of-way.
It's simply a right-of-way, exactly, not like additional road or so. It's just like the shoulder area, let's say.
It was a sliver that was not included because previously we only had annexed Lucky Ranch to the north, and it wasn't until that last portion that extended from Main Street all the way down. You might recall that the Brants owned the kind of a triangular piece at the bottom where the nearest southerly next intersection is with Highway 111. So it's to pick up something that should have been picked up as part of the annexation.
So
And,
it's not something that the community would be using?
someday in the future, if the city ever wanted to widen or take advantage of the additional right-of-way for
Right,
some type
exactly.
of feature, like a bus shelter or any kind of appurtenance that might be placed inside of the city's right-of-way, it would allow us additional feet. So it's not like the Main Street relinquishment where the city negotiates with Caltrans a settlement value. It is really to make continuous a half-width roadway that would have, it should have been picked up and was mistakenly omitted
process.
in the Rancho Porter annexation.
So there's no money involved, no settlement, no money exchange or anything?
No, nothing. It makes sense to have this additional piece because let's say that Caltrans wants to do anything there, they will be encroaching into either private property or city property.
Yeah.
If the city wants to do some type of work or maintenance, we will be encroaching into Caltrans right away and we need to ask for a permit.
So it's a
So,
good thing. we have.
yeah, it's
We want
in
a
reality.
local control.
Okay.
City.
I just don't want to have to add it to a list and.
Gordon?
You know what I mean, because we've been having complaints. We haven't done Legion, which is a big city, big street that is used quite often, more than others because of the hospital. So I just don't want to have to get another one on the list.
Gordon Gates, Planning Director. Just to clarify what Guillermo said and the city manager said, yes, we're taking it as is right now. The extra right-of-way is actually for the street to eventually be widened by the developer once they develop the property. Instead of being just a two-lane road, it'll be a four-lane road, or if this, whatever side comes first, they'll put an extra lane on that side with curb gutter, sidewalk, and everything. So they would be the ones improving the road to city standards once those projects move forward.
Good, thank you.
Right, okay. So I think that explains it. I would entertain a
Make a
motion.
motion to approve the item.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any discussion, additional discussion from audience, council? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Okay. 4E, discussion and staff direction regarding the Main Street striping project.
Our city engineer will be making a presentation on this item.
We're going to have a slideshow.
Okay, you might recall that the last meeting, it was requested to do an evaluation of the existing striping project, potential project along Main Street. And so in the council staff report, I included the first 6 projects that are priority right now because we have previous commitments regarding grants, and we have deadlines to meet to complete those projects. And this presentation shows the public works projects that were presented to the council during the budget process of approval for 2017, 2018. And the first slide shows the same 6 projects that are on the council report, just with the dollar amount associated with the cost of these projects. And they are the ADA improvements in bus shelters that this project is completed, the design plans and specifications. So next week we are ready to advertise the construction of this project. The value is $959,000. The next project is CFD landscaping care and maintenance, which is a project to be able to contract it out those services to maintain some of the subdivisions with CFD tax, and the city will be focused on some other activities, and we will be using this money to maintain these subdivisions. The specifications are under review right now, and we expect to finalize the review by November 30th. And we are hoping to advertise on January 2nd of next year. The Hinojosa Park ADA pedestrian improvements, it is being designed in-house right now, and it will include sidewalk around the park. Hopefully we can secure authorization to rehabilitate the basketball court, and also include exercise equipment for handicapped people. We are on the process to get this authorization, and it's estimated at $1 million. Very close to this project, we developed the senior center roof and improvements that is being approved, those construction improvements in the amount of $200,000. Right now, we are almost finishing the design and specifications of the local transportation authority project, which we call Phase 11, that are street rehabilitation in some locations of the city, and is for about $1.9 million. We will bundle this project with rehabilitation of the alley south of Main Street between 1st and 2nd in the amount of $100,000. So this project, these 2 projects, LTA Phase 11 and alley, are almost completed the design. The next one is the Abe Gonzalez Park Fence Rehabilitation Project. We advertised this project previously, but we were unable to get bids within the budget. So we will do some changes, and also we will re-advertise and contact some companies to be able to get better prices, or to be able to construct it within the budget, which is $20,000.
Just before you move on, Guillermo, as a refresher item, the first entry, the ADA improvements for bus shelters, those are grant sensitive with the strict timelines to avoid having to return the funds. And the Hinojosa Park and Senior Center improvements are the program income funded activity that we're trying to secure final authorization from HCD for, but those also have to be expended by September of 2018. And because of the mandatory advertising periods and various milestones that are met, we'll be under the gun to meet those deadlines and not have funds returned if we don't stay on course for those projects. So the timelines in many ways are driven by outside factors for those top 3 projects. And so what we try to do is balance what the funding source says we have to do and the priorities established by council. And this is kind of the top 6 or 7 projects, but behind that are a total of 20 more projects that are equally valuable and in many ways, driven by council priorities. So I think Guillermo could maybe briefly go through the remaining projects just as refreshers.
Right, yes, I will be quick.
Very quick.
Okay, so I'm going to move forward with these projects that were included during the budget process. 3 gates on the public works yard in this amount that is shown there. On-site parking improvements on Western Avenue. This is the small area that is on the front of the public works building. Decorative lighting project, it's been under design or under review. We are very close to finish
It's
that
the downtown
design.
lighting project, excuse me.
Right, it's Main
Plaza
Street on plazas. Right-of-way beautification project, we have been discussing with city manager, what can we do, because it's not much, but it will serve to improve some areas that are under development right now. Flashing beacons, we are planning to bundle these with the Main Street lighting project to improve the crosswalk crossing in front of the post office. Whitecat Drive is designed between Western and First Street that we need to go out and hire a consultant to do it soon. The other projects is the B Street improvement pedestrian projects at the crossing with railroad tracks. We need to do the design for that too, in-house. The other one is some other projects, pedestrian improvements on Main Street in the amount of $50,000. Legion Road improvements in the amount of $1.3 million. Sedimentation pond rehabilitation that probably a council member Norma and another council member had a chance to be able to see today because during the visit at the water plant, and it was luckily empty, so they were able to see all the components, chain, gears, and everything that needs to be replaced, together with the next one, which is the actuators and large diameter bulbs that needs to be replaced too. The next one is a rehabilitation of one of the distribution pumps. Last year we rehabilitated one, and we have 5 in total. So this will be the second one so it will be 3 more remaining. The next one is the Main Street water line replacement in the amount of $2 million. It's the one that is being discussed that is preventing us to improve Main Street surface. The next one is year 4 of bulb replacement project throughout the city. This is a project to replace bulbs on the water system. Next one is wastewater treatment plant centrifuge area shade. A biosolid study is the next one. The next one is stormwater management technical assistance to develop management for stormwater with regulations imposed by the regional board. The next one is sewer line replacement. It's basically around the Adler area between 7th and 8th Street. Volunteer Park Phase 2 is under design right now. We are very close to complete the design, and as soon as we finish, we will advertise for construction. Sidewalk cleaner is the acquisition of a small sweeper, let's say. And the last one is maintenance shop shade. All these projects are not in order, just the list that we included on the budget, but they might change the order. The top priorities, as the city manager mentioned, are the ones on the first slide.
On the sewer line replacements, where did you say those were for?
Adler Avenue, Adler Street from 7th to 8th Street. And also there's another one south of Adler Street. So that is a replacement of existing sewer line.
Okay, because we had a family reunion at the ACC grounds, and again, the smell was awful.
Right.
really, really bad.
On that, I can comment to you that Streets and Utilities the crew went out there to do inspection and
Correct.
try to figure out what was happening. And they installed a bulb, a flat bulb that it works only when there's flow. And so with that, and it seals, so we think that we will be able to reduce the odors. Another possibility that I need to talk to the manager of the location is that probably since they don't use the restrooms frequently and during the summer, the traps of the restrooms get dry and there's communication between the restrooms and the main line, and it's probably when they are getting odors. We have been experienced this type of problem in some other locations, like in high school, when they don't use a restroom frequently, so they might have these odors. So, but it's something that we will explore.
One of the things that we went to Imperial Beach to the water quality and rehabilitation, Tijuana River Valley and Salton Sea, we had discussions about that, and Norma went with me, and one of the questions that I asked was, that we were having problems with, smells and stuff. And one of the gentlemen who is an engineer said what they have found out is that there is a leakage of gas. In other words, the pipe needs to be replaced. So that's just something you might consider.
Right, it is possible, but unfortunately, the system in the city of Brawley is a combined system, so where the storm water system and the sewage system are combined. So that's why we get odors through the storm drain inlets, because they are connected to the sewage system. And so that's why we try to install P-traps or this type of bulbs to minimize the odors, which are more or stronger during the summer. In this case, the person.
It was freezing.
What?
It was cold. No, you said usually during the summer.
Right,
It
which
was
when
cold
is
Saturday
when
and
is
Sunday.
okay. So we recently installed, like probably 2 weeks ago, we installed this bulb. And we ask the person to call us when they have this bad odor, so we are able to go and assess where the odors are coming from, because as I mentioned before, maybe from the restrooms or from somewhere else other than the storm drain inlet. We recently installed this.
Okay, I wish I would have known, but it was during the weekend,
Right.
and they were gone to Mexico, so.
Okay, I would like to bring us back to the striping, and we can have another discussion on this if we want to agendize it as the odor issue, and we can discuss that fully, I think. But I'd like to bring us back to the striping issue and whether or not there's anything that we can do with that. Are there other questions from the council on the striping issue with the street?
Yeah, one comment that I would like to make is that we will be able, if that is the direction of the council, to start the design on this project after we complete some of the phases of these first 6 projects, that will be not sooner than January 31st. So that's the soonest that we can start to do the plans and specifications for the construction. And if we decided, the project will be completed June 30th.
By
next
June
year.
30th, so it would be up to June 30th. Okay.
That's the soonest.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to get this comment in, and this is even from the last time we discussed this, the last meeting. I absolutely do want to make sure, and this is expressing my thoughts on this, and that's to not jeopardize some of these time-sensitive projects that are in the queue that are tied specifically to funding, whether it be grant specifications, funding specifications, delivery. So that would absolutely be throwing good money after bad. So I do want to emphasize that we need to take staff's lead, and certainly not just Guillermo, but Guillermo and Rosanna's on what those determinations are. With that said, wherever this project could potentially fit, down the road, I still have some reservations on the project to begin with, also with this efficacy. When we're talking about striping, I know that it's very time life limited. Not to mention, there's a broader discussion that was brought up, not on our agenda, but about relinquishment and what our ultimate strategy and plan there is too. So I think all that needs to be discussed in unison. So again, we're not throwing good money after bad.
I guess I appreciate that. I guess one of my questions is, what's the cost for the striping that you estimate that would be for us?
45,000.
45,000.
For the basic
And then-
striping.
And I guess my question to you is, how many accidents have we had in that section of roadway due to it not being striped?
I believe that we haven't had anything, anyone.
So that adds, that,
Police
think
department
we-
probably can help us
I don't
out
think
with.
we've had any accidents from
information,
that situation.
No, I was going to say, I don't think we've really checked into that part of the,
All of our traffic incidents are indexed in the police department.
Right.
As part of Guillermo's efforts to determine the state of Main Street, he both examined the conditions and did additional background. Perhaps Chief Brown can add to the discussion?
Yes, thank you. We don't have any documented incidents of traffic collisions due to the striping issue. To give you an idea, there is a primary collision factor identified in every vehicle collision, and that has not come up as.
That has not been a factor.
Correct.
All right. That was a question that I had. I wanted to have it answered, and just it appears you've answered it. Okay.
Yes,
sir.
Very good.
and then to Donnie's remark about wanting to make sure that we get the ones that are already on the list that are a priority. I think we already know that those are a priority because those aren't taken care of by our staff at the least. They're outsourced to other companies.
Portions of the project are outsourced, so for design services where we engage an outside firm like the Holt Group, which is, for instance, handling the ADA improvements, our staff still are involved in reviewing the plans that are prepared,
Right.
commenting on the plans, and then we take on the procurement process. So the whole thing isn't outsourced, it's just the design work. And in some instances, when the grant funding is there to support it, we'll come to council with a request for construction management support so that we can have more projects going at the same time because our staff resources are finite. We can only have so many projects simultaneously going if we're performing the inspection role.
Okay.
I just have a comment about these projects that Guillermo took the time to list for us are time sensitive, and it's so difficult to get grant funding, and so I think it behooves us to try to get this money and spend it within the time frames, and then possibly look at other projects. But I think that it's critical that we work on these particular projects that are time sensitive at this time.
George, do you have anything?
Just share the same sentiment as the rest of council. You know, I want to make sure that we stay on track. I do find the striping of significance. There was a comment earlier by the member of the public.
Right.
But if we can at least get past some of the critical projects that Guillermo has mentioned, then we can readdress the issue.
I did hear some comments from other members of the public about the striping. My concern with striping is if we just stripe, don't replace the dots, any of that type of thing, then what happens is that lasts us about 6 months. So it's like a $45,000 expenditure for a 6-month lifespan. And then if there are no accidents occurring, I'm not sure that we're not spinning our wheels if we plan to do additional work on that street for the future. I think there's some other critical projects, as I think staff's trying to make us aware that they have a lot of things on their plate. And maybe they have too much on their plate, but they have a lot of things on their plate. And as we add more to that, then we have to deprioritize some of our priority projects. And so I think that's the whole emphasis here. So my thing would be, take a look at it. If you can do anything, please let us know. We can talk some more about it, I think, as soon as we get some of these other projects off the table. If we want to do something with it as a council, if we experience some accidents in that area, if something begins to happen, then I think we need to take some steps. I think we can't let it go, though, forever. And so what we have to do is make a decision as to when we put it into the queue and when we decide to do something about that street, whether it's striping or whether it's resurfacing or whether it's replacing the reflective dots or whatever we have to do. I think we can't put it off for 5 or 10 years. I think we have to decide what we're going to do within the next year or so. And so I would ask staff and give them direction to report back to us on their progress on current projects and then what they might be able to do with that section of roadway. And maybe for maybe it's just the worst section of that roadway or where we think something might happen, maybe we respond to that and not necessarily do the whole thing. But that's just my input as a part of the council.
So is there staff direction?
Is that
Staff-
clear? The
staff
staff
direct-
direction
is that-
clear?
is that-
We'll also be sure to make sure we highlight the topic in strategic planning and the budget process.
Right.
If we fast track the item, we would just bring a budget adjustment item to the council to program it for this year, if that's where you want to go with it. But if it's for a later time, we'll make sure it's not lost.
And
in
we would
the
take that
discussion.
out of the relinquishment money, correct?
We could look at a number of funding sources. If you wanted to use relinquishment dollars, that's an option, but there may be other streets funds for which there may be benefits and drawbacks of using those funds.
Are there options to us to take that and give it to someone else to do as a contract and not necessarily have city staff involved and hire a consultant to do the contract and then do the striping? I know that's going to be about twice the cost, but is that an option that we have available to us?
Absolutely, it's a question of assignment of the financial resources. So if we want to use the available, the fund balances that are in place, whether it's relinquishment money or any other type of streets-based funding, we just have a larger draw on the amount and plan for outsourcing the design of the project and, we would, no matter what, perform striping with an outside service. We do annual striping, every 1 to 2 years, refresh crosswalks at various locations. We completed a project this fiscal year with bike lanes. So we use typically a professional firm to actually do the painting on the
And
street.
they get it done in several days, and they have the equipment that's necessary and the expertise in order to do that. So I think I've seen that in action.
But at this point, we don't have any idea how much that would cost if we contracted it out, right? We'd have to.
The $45,000 is an awarded project, but it would be in-house design.
In-house, what I'm talking about,
Is doing like an RFP.
outside design
The design.
and then implementation of project.
And it typically, when there are projects that are simple enough for cities' in-house engineering staff to knock out, that's the way we structure in-house design projects. Or if the funding source is so strict or so small that the only way we can accomplish the project, like Hinojosa Park or the Senior Center, we're using in-house design capabilities to complete that work because the program income funds aren't eligible for the use of a consulting engineer to prepare drawings.
Okay. So I think you've got some direction. We need some additional information. We need you to come back to us. We need to kind of figure out where this fits within the queue and whether we want to do this or something else and when. Okay, I think that's direction. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, going on to item 4F is discussion and staff direction regarding the city council reorganization meeting date. And I think we've had some discussion regarding that. December, I think, is the timeframe. There was some discussion about December the 5th or December the 7th. I don't know. The December 7th is the
Angel T?
Angel T, and I'm not sure that that's the appropriate time to do that. And so what I would like to do is have some discussion related to that.
Mr. Mayor, I would just suggest if make it low-key and make it at our next council meeting. That's the 5th, on a Tuesday.
Okay. I mean, that's agreeable with me. I don't have any problem with that. What about the rest of the council? For December the 5th?
I'm fine with that date.
Is everybody available on that day?
Yeah, it's a regular
Yes.
council meeting.
Regular council meeting?
We'll
Mr.
let the
Hand is
Angel
available.
Tea have its own little party separately.
I do think the Angel Tea is an important event for the library.
To have it
And
separate.
if we do all of that together, it seems like it does detract somewhat from the Angel Tea, so I was concerned about that. So I think during the regular meeting would be better for us.
Yeah, I think it did take away from your event.
And
I
then
call it your event.
Sam eats extra tamales if we do
Well,
that.
and I like to eat soon, and that would be a delay, I
Right.
think.
Would
Mayor.
council prefer the same meeting time of
Or
6 p.m.?
earlier?
Or earlier? Do you want to do it earlier?
It's up to
Or
you.
same
Up to
meeting?
We'll just keep everything the same and.
Keep it the same?
Okay.
We would probably want to have some refreshments or something. And so, okay, all right. Okay, so we're looking at December the 5th, okay. Okay, item number 5 on the agenda, departmental reports. Marjo Mello, Library Director, regarding Angel Tea Party on December 7th. I already stole that.
He stole your thunder,
That's
Marjo.
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, there's more.
Well, there's
Right.
always angels in the clouds flying and making thunder anyway,
Right.
so we're good.
Tamale
Again,
tea
we
party.
want to invite everybody on Thursday. Food starts being served at 5:30. We like to make everybody's tummies really full, so they're so full they can't get up and leave before the speeches.
Okay.
So,
Might be
We
better
should
to
do
have
that
the
more often.
speeches,
I
might be
just
better to
thought
have the
that.
speeches and then the food, but
yeah,
okay.
no. We have the food first.
Okay.
And yeah, tamale comas are good. We have a lot of people to honor this year, and we're looking forward to doing that. We've had a lot of literacy folks hit some milestones and make some successes as both tutors and learners. So we're looking forward to celebrating them. We have a lot of high school students that we hope will be there. They're not always showing up, but we've had a lot of high school students this past year help us with book sales. And the library is a really great place for everybody to do their 15 hours that they're required by the high school. And a lot of them give us a lot more than 15 hours. So we're really good. We're really excited because it's also a nice time to thank our liaison to the library board and the library board because they work gangbusters. We also have had a lot of local commitment from clubs, Elks specifically with 50 backpacks for the summer reading program and a lot of other organizations. So we're really looking forward to celebrating it after we eat the food. And we're going to have the traditional, what do we call those, angel butter cookies. Those are going to be again
Angel
this year,
tamale.
among
Right,
other
we like
things.
those.
And the
Those are
angel
good.
tamales with rice and beans. We're ordering 22 dozen tamales. We will have a lot of tamales this year. I remember the first year
Plenty for me.
when we had cucumber sandwiches and watercress sandwiches, and when staff was doing stuff, they're looking at me like, I don't get it. So the next year when we did tamales, we had 10 dozen, which was really nice because it was a small group. And now we're up to 22 dozen tamales, and it's been about
The
probably
word's gotten
25, 26 years. So we're really
Fantastic.
looking forward to it, so.
Tamale
And-
tea.
Yep.
Tamale tea party. There you go.
Yep, and the first year we had tamales, they were too bland, and the second year, they were really too spicy. And from the third year on, they've been absolutely perfect. So just want to remind everybody, make your mouths water a little bit in
Okay.
anticipation. 5:30 is when we start with food, because people kind of drift in a little bit. And about 6:15, we start our thank yous.
Okay,
And we're looking forward to everybody being there.
sounds good.
Sounds good.
Thank
And you've
Thank
got,
you, Marjo.
you've got a flyer, and there's more blue ones to take for members of the audience.
Right.
So Marja,
Thank
just
you.
for clarification, you're not going back to cucumber sandwiches and
No.
watercress?
We're
Okay.
not
None
coming if
watercress.
that's the case.
Because
I mean,
people would taste it and go,
What about
This is-
cucumber tamales?
I've got
No,
another
no interest in
engagement.
that?
well, you know, isn't there a really cool dish where you cut up the cucumber and you put the chili on it?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
We could,
what's
that's
that
better.
called?
Have some of that.
Yeah,
Like
that's
pico
good.
de gallo or something like that.
Yeah, we may have to
Yeah, that's pretty
talk
good.
to the people who
There you
make
go.
the food for us. So,
You
cool.
could have it as a side dish.
Side dish.
Thank you.
Yeah, side dish, there you go. Thank you, Marjo. Okay, item number 5 in departmental reports, Guillermo Cias, City Engineer and Public Works Director, completion of sidewalk project.
Same time.
What is it?
A mixer.
I know. Tamales are more important.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, tamales are more fun than sidewalks.
They are.
Okay, this project was included on the list of projects during the budget preparation, and we were able to complete it. It was a grant that we got from the state of California, and it is basically the installation of sidewalks, handicap ramps, and driveways along North Imperial Avenue, north of River Drive, between River Drive and Flamman. The other section is on Mainland Street, between Cesar Chavez Street and Vine Street. And the third one is along C Street, between Eastern and Best Road. The project duration was 60 calendar days and started on August 14 and concluded on October 6th. Not much today. We didn't have much problems. It was pretty straightforward, and so we were able to complete it on time. And actually, we had some savings. So any questions that you might have?
Any questions from the council?
No, I just want to congratulate you. It's
Nice.
great work.
Thank you.
The added bonus of this project is the award was to a local business, Masters Construction.
Construction.
So
Very nice.
that's always an added bonus when we have a chance to work with a local contractor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guillermo.
You're welcome.
Okay, item number 6 on our agenda, informational items, record of building permits for September 2017, prepared by Oscar Escalante, our interim building official, and they are a part of your packet on 107, 108, about a page and a half of projects that are in the queue for building permits. Are there any questions from the council or from staff or public?
I just wanted to say that when I came on the council, K Street over by Hidalgo School had, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 houses, abandoned houses, and empty lots with slabs of concrete. Some were really bad with mattresses and trash, and boy, if you haven't been down there, you've gone by there, it's beautiful. I mean, almost all new houses have come into those lots. I think there's maybe a couple left. And I had somebody the other day ask me, he was looking for a place to invest. He wanted to buy like an old a lot to build, and I told him there's a couple left on K Street. So he said, "Oh, thank you." So it's looking really, really nice, that neighborhood right across the street from Hidalgo School.
It's a testimony to improvement of a neighborhood.
Yes.
I think you can see it happening.
Yes.
They're building a house right
And
now.
I grew up on K Street there, so, it looks really nice when I go by there.
I think Mr. Garcia has a lot to do with it.
It's really nice. Any other comments on that list? If not, I'll move right on to our item number 7, our city council member reports. Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to go first?
Sure. Well, went to almost all the events for Cattle Call. I believe I only missed the mariachi, which is the one I really wanted to go to, but that was my first day of the flu. And so the rest, I went ahead and went out there. I got a little sicker as time went on, but now I only have the cough, and it's pretty well, with the antibiotics they've given me, I'm pretty well healed, pretty close to it. Norm and I were privileged to go up to the Water Quality and Rehabilitation for the Tijuana River Valley. They spoke about the Salton Sea and beyond, and Imperial Beach. It was very interesting. That was one of the things that they were talking about, the odors of some of these, the odors coming out of the streets, what do you call them, not the ducts, but, yes, the gutter. Anyways, so it was, they said, wait for your questions, write them down if you had one, but of course, I don't listen too well, so I asked about that because of the problem that we had. But they were gracious enough to answer me. And we spoke to, what was the name of our congresswoman?
Denise Moreno Duchesne.
Oh, yeah, Duchesne.
She's the
And
state senator.
she's coming down to the Imperial Valley. She has some projects she wants to work on, so she's going to call Norma and myself to help her on them. So we did some talking and meeting different people, so that was good. And then we went to, I went to the memorial dedication at the Clínica Salud for Miguel Miranda, which was really nice, and most of us attended that. Went to, my biggest thing for, I guess, because I didn't go to mariachi, Clay Walker. It was really nice. We got to stand up right there in the middle, in front of him. I thought that was great. I wasn't able to keep standing. I think I only was there for half of the program, and then I had to go find a chair. Also went to the 8th Annual Environmental at the Imperial Center at Twin Dragon for a day, and then I had a doctor's appointment and then wasn't able to for the next day. We had also went to the 3rd Annual Miraposa Award Fundraiser Gala. Norma was there and myself, and I believe Sam went also. It was at the old Eucalyptus Schoolhouse. And And of course, all the events for Catacala. And this is pretty much my last real meeting, and so I just wanted to thank everybody for the last 4 years that I've had on here. I had a few ups and downs and continue every once in a while, but I hope Norma is going to be with all the men like I was once, and hopefully she'll be very well respected, and especially when it comes to her mayorship. In speaking to other people that have become mayors and stuff, I explained to them what had happened to mine, and they were appalled by it. But anyway, all in all, it's been good here. I don't think that I've had any big problems. But it's a challenge being on the city council. I think Brawley Union High School, I was there 12 years. I think this is 10 times more work and more challenging. You have the whole community, where at the high school, you just had the parents of the high school. And that was challenging. The students were great. So here, there's a lot of work to do for Brawley, especially our Main Street. And I hope one day that we can, as a community and as a council, we can come up with an idea how to control how the merchants are able to take care of their buildings. I'm sure we have ordinance that states they have to keep them clean because, I mean, unless it's cattle call, we don't have the time to go out or make the time either, to go out and make sure that these buildings are clean. Congratulations to Sam, congratulations to Lou. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Norma.
Okay, well, it was a long break, and I think that if we counted the days that we were out there representing the city, I think I was out representing the city more days than I was home. It was very busy, what was it, 3 weeks? 3 weeks?
Pretty much.
I think some of us attended the Pioneer Memorial Hospital Foundation dinner, which was a great event. Always a very nice event for everyone to attend. I find out that there's a lot of excellent, talented artists out there that donate their artwork, and it's a great fundraiser. I attended the Imana Las Primeras event also, and then the Molina Healthcare Awards luncheon, the League of Cities dinner in Calexico. We finally made it to Calexico because a lot of times they see us and they say, you never come down south. So I was happy to be over there. Most of us were able to make that. It was very nice dinner and a very nice program. And then, like Helen indicated, we did make it to Imperial Beach and attended that seminar that was hosted by Senator Ben Wessel. Kind of found out that, I mean, they are aware, of course they are aware of all the issues we have over here with the New River and Salton Sea, but they have very big issues also with the Tijuana River and the issues that they have with the pollution in the beach areas that, you know, when it rains, and they just have about the same amount of problems, I think, as we do, but it's just, you know, a little bit different, but also issues that need to be addressed, similar problems. And no solutions, really, no solutions. That's kind of the negative thing. I mean, they look at different ways to take care of these things, but most of it has to do with money, funding. Where's the money gonna come from? And so it's just gonna take millions and millions of dollars to address those issues. Then I guess beginning the 4th of November, I had on my calendar, all the way through the 11th of November, I attended cattle call events. And that broke a record for me.
For me too.
And then just last week, my husband and I attended the IBEDC awards banquet.
Annual dinner.
Yes, so that was
Annual
also
meeting.
a nice celebration that we had there. And that's about it. So, been busy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll try to rattle it off here pretty quick, but the PMH Gala annual, I know, again, that was back in October, but I did attend that. Hosted my last division meeting with the California League of Cities down in Calexico. I think there's one more where there's kind of a changing of the guard, so look forward to that. And then when it came to cattle call, like my fellow council members, pretty much attended just about everything. The only thing I was a little late to was the chili cook-off, and it was because I partook in the pre-chili cook-off events the night before. But I did attend, and with that, I want to kind of put out a big congratulations, and I know with Supervisor Kelly here as well, the opening and kind of the kickoff for Patties on the Rock. Very exciting that they were able to swing those doors open and allow the cattle call participating public to come in and enjoy all the work that's gone into that location. So look forward to that as that moves forward. Mariachi night, all the numbers that were shared a little bit earlier by our chamber executive director, got to witness that, and I'll tell you what, I mean, even down to Mariachi Festival, just that has really become one of the just midweek banner programs, I think, of the year right here downtown. So just great to see that, wonderful to see the crowd, and certainly all our departments and all of those involved in helping to make that happen and make it a fun, safe, great, successful night. The unfortunate thing is the only thing I did not attend was the rodeo and everything around it, including I did attend the Cattle Call Rodeo Committee dinner even the night before. But again, a lot of competing interests with guests and whatnot. So again, partook in everything around it, including the concert on Saturday night, which I think was a bit historic. So very excited. And huge congratulations to the committee, to all those involved again, and really the city of Brawley, Imperial County. I think it was a week to be remembered. With all that, Mr. Mayor, there's, I'm sure, plenty of kudos to go around, but I did want to share those were my events that I was involved in.
Thank you, Donnie. George?
I was able to participate in some of the cattle call events, great time, and I do appreciate city staff and the chamber for coming together and making those events possible. Looks like people were out in great numbers, and whether that was a concert or mariachi or other events, people seem to have a very good time, so I appreciate that. And also thanks to our police department, who did a very good job in controlling the crowds and people's energy. I know sometimes, whether it's just having so many people at one location or people drinking, I mean, it can sometimes create some conflict, but overall, great events and great turnout, so I was happy to see all those things happen. I also was able to recently wish a happy retirement to Pat Dorsey, who is our Parks and Rec Director. Most recently, and has been with the city of Brawley for over 30 years. And so she recently retired, and I was able to see her on her last day at work. Wished her well, and certainly I think she's really going to enjoy her retirement, get away a little bit and enjoy time with family. And she's got grandkids that are still, fairly young adults, and so she's going to get to enjoy some time with them. And I'm happy to see her be able to enjoy her retirement. Oftentimes people go so long without really appreciating that, so I'm happy to see that for her. Very recently, I do want to thank our police chief and our fire chief for helping acclimate our newest elected, our soon-to-be council member, Luke Hamby. We did visit the wastewater treatment facility, and we visited the fire department, Fire Station number 2, and the police department. We toured those facilities, and just, anything we can do to help acclimate our newest member of the city council. But he really enjoyed the headworks at the wastewater treatment facility. He got to feel that summer mist, hit him. And so, and as well as our police chief. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it is really where it's the inflow of all the sewer that's coming in, and that's kind of where it starts to get processed. But it really was an eye-opener for Mr. Hamby and for our chief, who had not been there previously. But it is a complicated system. It really is. You have talented people out there that are well qualified. They have to go through a state licensing process. It's a very sophisticated system that we operate out there, and not just our water treatment facility, but our wastewater treatment as well, from beginning to end. So I'm glad that we were able to get out there and see that. And again, thanks to Fire Chief Peraza for the visit over at Fire Station 2, and of course our police chief for seeing the facilities here seeing our dispatch center and seeing, even our IT department and all the other things that are going on there. So I appreciate that very much. I also was able to attend the IVDC dinner, and on a separate note, a more personal note, I'll just tell a very short story. When Miguel Miranda had passed away a few years back, he was actually a very good friend of my brother Jesus, and so they went to school together, and they'd known each other, and any time that they'd get back together, they'd always enjoy each other's company and have some drinks and some food together. And when Miguel had passed away, I remember calling my brother, who had moved to Aguascalientes many years back to run some businesses in Mexico and raise his family there, even though they were from Brawley. So I'd called him and said, hey, just want to let you know Miguel had passed away. He was like, yeah, I heard that. And then 2 weeks later, my brother passed away. And so when that happened, his oldest son, Jesse, he was kind of without direction. And so, he'd spent so many years in Mexico, but he came back to the United States. And, he was able to get some good advice from your brother, Chris Moore, and I want to thank him. I'd also like to thank Donnie Wharton for providing him some advice and a sense of direction. But he recently graduated from Air Force Basic Training, and that was all within a span of a year that he made his mind up. He changed his life, and I was able to go out there and visit him and see that accomplishment. And he's actually the first person within our immediate family to serve in the armed forces, so I'm super proud of him, and it just means a lot. So thank you to Chris Moore, and thank you, Donnie, for the input, and thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, I'll read my list. It reads kind of like the Public Works project list, but first we had an election. I don't know if all of you realize what a stress and strain that is, but I know the people that were involved in the election, they do know how much that means. Chili cook-off, the Chamber Cattle Call Mixer on Monday, the Rodeo Committee Dinner on a Friday, the Cowboy Poetry on a Tuesday, the Mariachi Festival on a Wednesday, the Elks Barbecue on Saturday, the Cotton Roster Dedication the week before that, or that week, the Imperial Chamber Mixer, which I attended along with Mr. Hanby. My wife's involved with some crafts, and so I had to help her with that. So I did attend that. I rode in the parade. I went to the concert with Clay Walker. I attended the El Centro Bell game when we were in El Centro, and now they own the Bell, but I won't go into that. Chamber Board meeting, League of Cities in Calexico, the 8th Annual Environmental Health Leadership Summit at Luhu and at the near Calexico, the PMHD Foundation Gala Dinner, the IVROP Career Education Meeting in El Centro, the Miguel Miranda Clinica dedication, and well-deserved by Miguel Miranda, the Mana Las Primeras Award Dinner, the Elks Rib Cook-Off the week before that, the El Centro Rotary meeting this last week. I attended and did a presentation. I attended the IVDC annual dinner. I attended the Brawley welding class to take some pictures with them for IVROP, and I did the Community Valley Bank breakfast. Now, I challenge anybody to do all that and survive. But I did. I made it. And Wanda was there with most of those things with me, which was a remarkable thing. And so we're very pleased with all the activity, yes.
Mr. Couchman, 2 weeks ago I opened a Cracker Jack box, and you were not there.
I know, I wasn't there, but I was everywhere else. I put it to you that way. I was probably eating those Cracker Jacks somewhere, but we did a lot of stuff, a lot of activities. Like I say, Super Cattle Call. That doesn't count all the other things that I've done of a personal nature in the last month, which I would share, but I know you don't have the time for that. So just to tell you all, I do appreciate the city staff intensely. They did a fine job, and they all need to be commended. They worked their tails off during Cattle Call, and everybody did. And I thank them for their assistance to me and their assistance to everyone and the public here at large in the city of Brawley. And I want you to know that I greatly appreciate everything that you guys do.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the hoop shoot for Elks? Do you know?
I didn't attend that, but do you?
It's going to be coming up in December.
It's coming up, okay.
Yeah, it's the hoop shoot, and it's free throw contest, and it's the largest and most visible of many youth activities sponsored by Elks Lodges. The Elks National Free Throw Program is open to all boys and girls ages 8 through 13, regardless of race or creed. More than 3 million boys and girls will participate this year. And they give I don't know if it's money or plaques or scholarships, but as you get, you keep going up and you keep winning, they take a girl and a boy for each age. I think it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and it's really fascinating to watch these kids compete. It teaches them a lot, and it's through the local, district, state, and regional competition. So if you keep winning, those are the ones that you will be doing. Their names will be inscribed on a plaque at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Parents accompany contestants throughout the competition. The parents of finalists at the state, regional, and national levels attend the competition as guests of the Alps. So if you know of anyone that would like to play, I don't remember how old he is now, but anyone from 8 to 13, we will have them there. And I will be giving out, I'll bring one to Rosanna. It's in December.
And just contact the Elks Lodge or contact
Yes.
Helen, and they'll put you in touch with that if you have any children that are interested. I think they go through the Boys and Girls Club for some of the
Yes,
participants.
that's what we're gonna do it.
And we try to coordinate with them, and there'll be a coordinator at the Elks Lodge. And the project is very worthwhile for the children if they enjoy that type of thing, and the sports of basketball.
And they'll be sending out flyers, hopefully to the school.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I can see why you told Guillermo to keep his list very short. 'cause
Yes,
yours is
that's
so
right,
long,
because
you know.
mine was so long.
So long, yeah, there you
That's
go.
right, and I still have to wear this stupid T-shirt. but-
Okay.
But, I mean, that's the way it goes. All right. Okay, now we'll go to item number 8 on the agenda, the city treasurer's report. Ruby?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Ruby Walla, City Treasurer. This is the investment activity report through September 30th, 2017. A little bit different from prior reports. We have some new business on these reports to report. First, I want to make one clarification. On the third line item, Sun Community Federal Credit Union, the date should be reflective of the renewal. Those weren't updated, so it should be purchase date of 2017 and maturity date of 2018. I just wanted that for clarification. On this, you'll notice that our top portion expanded a bit. We have 2 new CDs that we want to introduce, which are First Imperial Credit Union. So we have a total investment with First Imperial Credit Union. We were happy to be able to get to that with them at $2 million. And actually, these are relinquishment dollars that we've reinvested. Being on the timeline and on the horizon, and that we have those funds on hand. So this is actually interest earnings that will go solely to highway relinquishment funds.
Okay.
So those are 2 new CDs that we have. The others, we did reinvest and renew the CDs with CVB and Sun Community. But the things to highlight, and you'll notice, is that the LAIF rate has gone up. So currently, our CVB local investment is at a lower yield than LAIF now. And that's something that's out of our control, but we are in a 12-month commitment with CVB. And when we come to renewal, depending where LAIF rates are, we can renegotiate on those terms. But again, we pride ourselves on having local investments as well. And then further along with the multi-bank securities, the same structure you'll find is that we're on a ladder approach. So you'll see some CDs that were surpassing LAIF are now, we have a few that are about to reach maturity but are under LAIF at this point at the lowest is at 1%. Other than that, overall, we're doing pretty well. Still, our total average yield with all the investments in diversification is a 1.45, leaving with multi-bank at the highest at 1.76. And then First Imperial Credit Union, they gave us a comparable yield to what Sun Community gave us at a few points lower, so we're at 1.48 versus 1.5. And I'll entertain any questions if there's any.
I don't think we have any.
No?
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to item 9, which is the city manager's report.
Mayor Ketchman, members of council, the only item I was hoping to just make a quick note of is we have a number of vacancies on our boards and commissions. Normally, we advertise once a year for these open positions, but because some are in advance of term ending dates, staff will be coming to you in the future with a suggestion to move forward with advertising and filling some of the vacated spots. You may recall that one of our library commissioners recently stepped down, Dr. Stillman.
Yes.
And we've also had a recent resignation from a member of our Parks and Rec Commission, Mr. Hernandez.
Okay.
So there are a number of spots that would be helpful to get some applicants for and bring to the council for possible action in the future.
And I would ask council members to think about people that you may want to push forward and maybe ask to be on some of those commissions. I have asked several different people. I think it's good that we know the people that we're putting in there. I think we want to make sure that they are active in those commissions, therefore we place them in there. So maybe we can talk to some more, and also the ads when necessary. All right.
Should they contact Alma? Okay.
Okay, let's going on to item 10, the city attorney's report.
Seems like a long time ago, but our last meeting, there was a large number of folks that used to reside at the mobile home park concerned about when their mitigation payments would be arriving, and I'm happy to report that they've been paid. And I spoke to the attorneys for AMG and for the Wu family, and they are pressing on with the project and the sale.
I have seen some movement over
Yes.
there, quite a bit.
Okay. And they made first payment checks, I think, or whatever the checks were that they were due. They did receive those.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. So it's pressing on, and they'll be hearing on the lawsuit next week on the city's challenge to the pleadings.
Okay. Okay. And item number 11, city clerk's report.
Nothing to report.
Okay. And then we will go to item 12, closed session. Let's take a 3-minute break or something here, and then we'll be going. Thank you all for attending. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.